You are standing in front of your bathroom mirror, feeling that familiar, maddening itch deep inside your ear canal. You reach for that small plastic stick with the soft cotton tips, thinking you are just about to perform a simple act of hygiene. You slide it in, and for a split second, the relief is almost euphoric. You twist it, you scratch that specific spot, and you feel like you finally cleared the blockage. But as you pull that stick out, something terrifying happens. The silence of the room is suddenly shattered by a high-pitched electric scream. Your ears aren't just ringing. They feel like they've been struck by a bolt of lightning. This isn't just wax being moved around. You have just sent a massive, unfiltered surge of electrical interference directly into your auditory nerves. By trying to clean your ears, you are essentially electrocuting the very senses that allow you to hear, and your brain is screaming in response. Most people treat their ear canal like a dusty pipe that needs a good scrubbing. They think earwax is a sign of being dirty. In reality, that wax is a sophisticated biological shield, a lubricant infused with antimicrobial properties designed to keep the most sensitive skin on your body safe. When you shove a Q-tip into that canal, you aren't cleaning anything. You are acting like a piston in an engine, compressing that wax and jamming it against the eardrum. But even worse than the physical blockage is the microscopic trauma you are inflicting on the canal wall. The skin inside your ear is thinner than a piece of tissue paper, and it sits directly on top of a dense network of nerves. Every time you scrape that cotton tip against the canal, you are stripping away the protective barrier and exposing raw nerve endings to the air. This triggers a localized inflammatory response that doesn't just stay in the skin. It travels inward, vibrating through the bones of the middle ear and striking the cochlea with the force of a hammer. The pleasure you feel when you scratch your ear is actually a warning sign. That itch is a signal from your nervous system that the environment inside your ear is imbalanced. By scratching it, you trigger a temporary release of histamine, which feels good for a second, but leads to a rebound effect that makes the itch, and the subsequent ringing, even worse. This is the scratch-hiss cycle. Your brain interprets the mechanical friction of the Q-tip as a massive sensory input. Because the ear canal is so close to the brain's processing centers, this friction is translated into electrical noise. If your nerves are already frayed or lacking proper insulation, this noise isn't filtered. It leaks. It spills over into the auditory pathways, creating a phantom sound that your brain can't turn off. You aren't just moving wax, you are short-circuiting your internal wiring. If you've noticed that your tinnitus spikes or becomes more metallic after you use a Q-tip, you are witnessing a synaptic overload in real time. Your auditory nerves are covered in a fatty insulation called myelin, which ensures that electrical signals travel smoothly from your ear to your brain. When you subject your ear canal to the aggressive friction of a cotton swab, you are inducing a state of metabolic stress in the surrounding tissue. This stress causes the nerves to fire sporadically, sending false alarms to the auditory cortex. It's like a frayed wire in a house that sparks every time the wind blows. Your brain, confused by these erratic signals, does the only thing it knows how to do to make sense of the chaos. It turns up the volume. This is why the ringing feels so much more aggressive and electric after a cleaning session. You have effectively spiked your brain's internal gain, and it stays stuck there, searching for a signal in the noise you created. This isn't a problem you can solve with more cleaning or different drops. The issue is structural and electrical. When you scrape away the protective wax and irritate the nerves, you are hollowing out your brain's natural ability to gate out background static. You are firing the gatekeeper of your mind and leaving the doors wide open for phantom noises to rush in. To stop this electric shocking of your nerves, you have to move beyond the bathroom mirror and address the insulation of the nerves themselves. If you want to see the specific steps to reseal these electrical leaks and provide your nervous system with the raw materials it needs to stop the sparking, you can find the full protocol on the page linked below this video. We have been conditioned to believe that our ears are external organs that we need to manage. We forget that the ear canal is a direct gateway to the most complex computer in the universe, the human brain. The skin inside your ear is packed with specialized receptors called mechanoreceptors. These are designed to detect subtle air pressure changes, not the blunt force of a plastic stick. When you use a Q-tip, You are overwhelming these receptors, forcing them to send a massive, high-voltage signal to the brain. Because this signal is so unnatural and intense, the brain enters a state of neurogenic inflammation. The nerves become hypersensitive, making even the sound of your own breathing or the rustle of your pillow feel like a loud, intrusive hiss. You have turned your ears into high-gain microphones that are picking up the electrical hum of your own nervous system. The industry that sells these cotton swabs knows this. If you look at the fine print on almost every box of Q-tips, it explicitly tells you not to insert them into the ear canal. They know the risk of eardrum perforation, but the more subtle, long-term danger is this chronic nerve irritation. Every time you clean, you are pushing the wax deeper into the dark zone of the ear, where the body's natural self-cleaning mechanism can't reach it. This creates a permanent pressure on the eardrum, which in turn puts pressure on the tiny bones of the middle ear. This mechanical pressure is translated into a constant electrical signal, a hum that your brain interprets as a permanent ringing. You are paying for a clean feeling with your silence. If you are over 45, your nerves are already facing a natural decline in insulation. The myelin sheath that protects your auditory nerves starts to thin, making you more susceptible to leaky electrical signals. When you add the aggressive friction of a Q-tip to this already fragile system, you are accelerating the decay. You are effectively stripping the coating off an old wire and wondering why the lights are flickering. The ringing you hear is the sound of your brain trying to process a signal that is fundamentally broken. It is the sound of a short circuit. To break this cycle, you must stop the mechanical assault and start the biological repair. You need to give those nerves the specific fatty acids and minerals they need to rebuild the insulation and stop the electrical leakage. This is where the internal volume knob comes back into play. When the brain receives these electric shock signals from a Q-tip, it perceives a loss of clarity. It can't distinguish between the noise of the friction and the actual sounds of the world. To compensate, the auditory cortex increases its sensitivity. It's like trying to listen to a whisper while someone is dragging a rake across a metal roof. The brain amplifies everything, including the internal static of your own biology. This is why the ringing feels so tight and high-pitched. You have trained your brain to live in a state of high alert. To turn that knob back down, you have to provide a stable, insulated environment for the nerves to function. You can't just wish the noise away. You have to fix the frita. You can see how this synaptic reset targets the root cause of this electric noise at the link in the description right now. The physical damage of a Q-tip goes beyond just the nerves. It alters the pH balance of your ear canal. Earwax is naturally acidic, which keeps bacteria and fungus at bay. When you strip it away, the canal becomes alkaline, which is the perfect breeding ground for low-level infections. These silent infections cause the tissue to swell, putting even more pressure on the auditory nerve. This is why many people who use Q-tips frequently complain of a clogged feeling or a dull ache that accompanies the ringing. It's a chronic state of inflammation that keeps the auditory system in a constant loop of distress. You aren't just cleaning. You are creating a biological war zone inside your head. Think about the last time you had a spike in your ringing. Was it after a shower? After you used a Q-tip to dry out your ears? Most people don't make the connection because the spike doesn't always happen instantly. Sometimes it takes an hour for the inflammatory response to reach its peak, but the cause is the same. The mechanical trauma has triggered a wave of electrical interference that has overwhelmed your brain's ability to filter sound. You are living with a self-inflicted noise floor that is drowning out the clarity of your life. Every time you reach for that stick, you are gambling with your ability to enjoy a quiet room. The tragedy is that the ears are designed to be self-cleaning. The skin in your ear canal grows in a spiral pattern, slowly pushing wax and debris toward the outside. When you use a Q-tip, you are fighting against your own biology. You are shoving the debris back down the spiral, creating a plug that dampens your hearing and spikes your internal volume. This dampened hearing is interpreted by the brain as a loss of input, which triggers the gain spike we've talked about. It is a double-edged sword. You are physically blocking the sound and electrically shocking the nerves at the same time. The result is a permanent state of high-gain tinnitus that feels impossible to escape, but the brain is remarkably adaptable. Even if you have been shocking your nerves for years, the system can be recalibrated. The first step is to drop the habit, but the second more vital step is to address the metabolic damage. You have to feed the nerves the specific nutrients required to restore the myelin sheath and balance the GABA peacekeepers in the auditory cortex. This is how you ground the electrical system and stop the sparking. By addressing the chemistry of the brain and the insulation of the nerves, you can finally turn that internal volume knob back to zero. You don't have to live with the electric scream. The detailed guide to this biological grounding and neural repair is available for you at the link below. Stop treating your ears like an external nuisance. They are an extension of your brain. Every time you insert a foreign object into that canal, you are performing a crude form of brain surgery without a license. You are disrupting the delicate electrical balance that allows you to perceive reality. The ringing isn't a mystery. It's a symptom of a system that has been physically and chemically overtaxed. It is your brain's way of telling you that the frita is failing. The electric sensation of your tinnitus is a direct reflection of the electrical chaos you are inducing. The clock is ticking on your auditory health. With every cleaning, you are making it harder for your brain to recover its baseline. You are deepening the grooves of the phantom noise in your synapses. But you can choose a different path today. You can choose to support the biology instead of attacking it. You can choose to rebuild the insulation and restore the silence. Reconnect with your brain's natural ability to filter and heal. Give your nervous system the support it has been starving for since the ringing first started. Your silence isn't gone. It's just buried under the electrical noise of years of cleaning. Take the first step to reclaim it. Visit the link in the description now to see the full synaptic repair protocol and stop the shocking once and for all. Your peace of mind is waiting for you on the other side of this biological reset.